Welcome to episode 19 of the Blasting Basketballs podcast. I'm your host, Steve Gjino. I honestly can't think of a number 19 in the NBA, so I'm not going to act like I can. But I'm joined today by Noel and Jason, friends of the pod. Noel, how's it going?
As a Celtics fan, not great, but other than that, I've been great. Enjoying the playoffs. It's been awesome so far.
I thought you were a Lakers fan.
I'm a LeBron fan, not a Lakers fan.
Okay. So kind of like how I'm a Paul George fan, but not really a Clippers fan. Okay.
Right.
Jason, how are you?
I'm chilling, sitting on a few racks from these little parlays today. Had $60 on KD 30 points, Kyrie 30 points, Kyrie 3 threes, KD 3 threes, Nets over 118 and Nets minus 7.5. $60 got me $2,000, so I'm chilling with that.
Yeah, that's a crazy amount of money to win off $60, dude.
Yeah.
Like, congrats.
Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying the playoffs, safe to say.
Yeah, the sunglasses show it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll start it off. So it's been a pretty cool first round. We've seen some back and forth, also a sweep with the Heat and the Bucks. But what I want to bring up first is the Clippers and the Mavs. As you guys know, I'm a Clippers fan, mainly because I'm a Paul George fan. And I'm riding off a high right now after watching that Game 4 Clippers-Mavs. What a scary start that was to the series, especially for Clippers fans. Like, not just this season, but like it felt like the whole franchise was on the line. Like, if they got swept by the Mavs, it feels like everything would have blown up, and they were just getting so much slander after losing those first two games. So it just feels like I can breathe a sigh of relief now, like after seeing them tie it up, and it feels like they're going to just win 4 straight and move on to the next round. That's what it feels like. It feels like they figured it out. Noel, how do you feel about the Clippers kind of tying it up and showing some real some grit and responding to adversity like that?
So it's interesting. In Game 2, I really thought they were going to win after Kawhi had that monster first half. But then in the second half, so a lot of people were talking about Luka taking over, but I also noticed, like, for example, Tim Hardaway was shooting 6 for 6 from 3, something ridiculous. Porzingis finally stepped up a bit. They had Jalen Brunson, who was hitting some big shots. Just a bunch of their role players were getting into it, and that was the advantage they had over the Clips.
Yeah.
And then these past 2 games, Luka's been a little off, and you could tell because of the injury. And because Luka's weakened a little, I feel like the energy for the rest of his teammates has been a little lower. Kristaps hasn't really stepped up, especially today. They got down early, and then it got out of hand.
Jason, how are you feeling?
Yeah, that was definitely Luka is injured because he's probably tired from carrying the Mavericks this entire season,
Yeah, the crazy thing is they were a 13th seed at one point in the season, and they fought.
This is a weird series. Like, when was the last time a team went 2-0 away and then 2-0 away again?
Yeah, they say a series doesn't start until a home game or a home team wins a game.
Yeah. And as long as Luka is injured, Clippers definitely about to sweep.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for him. And especially as a Clippers fan, like, you want to see the other team at full strength so you can feel like you actually beat them.
Yeah, this sucks, dude, because Luka was, like, dominating before this injury.
Yeah. I was thinking he was the best player in the league at some points. He was hitting some ridiculous shots, like one-legged ball away with the hand in his face, like all these like and ones, like. And the craziest thing, or like the funniest thing, is after he hits one of these tough shots, he starts like slapping his chest, like talking shit.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
It's almost like he flew too close to the sun, like Icarus.
I still think Mavs in 7.
I hope not.
Now it's Luka can somehow get healthy. Yeah.
Like, not only was the 0-2 start scary, but the beginning of Game 3, they went down 19 in the first quarter. Dude, I was watching that. I was so sad to start. But then the Clippers started getting back in it, so I was giving some fist pumps, some really aggressive fist pumps when they were hitting some shots. No, but yeah, they were some of those shots the Mavs were hitting, dude. I was like, what the hell is this? But they call it like regression to the mean. Like they were shooting like really well, but at some point they had to come back to life, like come back to earth, you know? So yeah.
Yeah. Chris
but
Stapps is overrated. Just gonna put that out there.
It seems like he doesn't really have that it factor, you know?
Yeah, he doesn't have that like dog mentality, I feel like. But you know, I'm just a casual.
Well, also because I still think he's recovering from that old injury that's still been nagging him a little. He wasn't playing some of the back-to-backs during the regular season. And I think he's relying a little too much on the three. I think he needs to get more in the post. But I think because of his injury, he's a little bit more afraid of the contact. And that's why he's taking threes from Dame range sometimes instead of just posting up when he's 7'3".
Yeah, being 7'3", I mean, you got to get in the post.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to.
Oh no, I still have a couple things.
Okay, go on.
Like when I was watching Luka, like do what he does this series, I was thinking like once LeBron leaves, Luka's gonna be the best player for a long time. That's what I was thinking. And you know the gap between LeBron and everybody else right now? I think it's gonna be a similar gap between Luka and everybody else once LeBron's gone. Noel?
Definitely.
How do you feel about that?
So I agree that Luka's going to be the face of the league when LeBron's gone. But my wild card for someone who's going to be very close is LaMelo Ball, I think he's an amazing player. He has vision that a 10-year vet would have in his rookie year. He's got size at the point guard position. He's actually been pretty solid on defense, even though he was a horrendous defender when he played overseas and in high school. His jump shot looked great. Even when he got hurt and his numbers started to dip a little, he still shot with that same confidence and picked it up in the second half of games, especially because they're my NBA game time pick every night of like those weird NBA TV games. So I always watch the Hornets, and LaMelo is just amazing. He does it all. He can play off the ball and on the ball, combo guard. I think he's the perfect player, and I think he's going to be the face of the league with Luka in the future.
He's marketable.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah, the young talent, and I think the league's in good hands with the young talent right now. Donovan Mitchell, like Anthony Edwards in the same class as LaMelo, like arguably should have been Rookie of the Year. He was balling. NBA's in good hands.
Mm-hmm.
You know, who else is up and coming? Like Giannis is about to beat the Nets next round, right?
Yeah,
I don't think so, personally.
I mean, we can talk about that in a little bit.
If the Nets lose to the Celtics once, that tells me that they're gonna lose to the Bucks 4 times.
Nah, but everything was firing for the Celtics that game, and they only won by like 6.
That's one of those garden games. It's a trap game. You don't want to play in the garden.
Yeah.
Okay.
But just to wrap up the Clippers Mavs talk, like the Clippers look like they're on track to do what only like 6% of teams do, which has come back from 0-2. So I'm really happy about that. Jason, I know you wanted to talk about something next, so.
No, just a different series. Boston, Brooklyn. So Brooklyn just absolutely annihilated Boston today.
Yeah.
Kyrie.
Yep.
Kyrie looked like he entered mama mentality mode. And yeah, it was straight up disrespectful, and then he like went to the court, the logo at the end of the game, and like wiped his foot on the logo and stuff.
I know Noel feels pretty strongly about that.
Oh yeah, I definitely do. I'm kind of done with Kyrie Irving, honestly. I used to be a fan. And then after the countless incidences of him just being immature and trying to say, why always me, when he's the one that starts most of these problems. Like, for example, talking about LeBron when he was in the finals. I've never had another teammate that I trust with the last shot. Or whether it's, I don't want to talk to the media for the year. And then he leaves his team, and all of a sudden he's not texting his coach back. And then he starts talking about the media portrays me badly and calls the city of Boston racist, which there's definitely racism in Boston and with fans. But I think that the context he brought it up in was mainly to benefit himself because he was about to play in Boston. It had nothing to do with the actual the issue itself. He wasn't really deep diving into the issues. He was connecting it to his own personal experience at the Garden, which I felt was unfair for the setting. And he's playing great basketball, no doubt. But I think that Harden and KD are the ones who really drive that team.
Is one thing that I don't really care about his off the field. One thing though is like he acts like so woke, but his shoes aren't his shoes made in like sweatshops?
Probably.
Probably.
So,
Yeah,
but so he doesn't do anything about that. I don't understand. That's the one thing I gotta say about him. But he's definitely really good at basketball.
Yeah, a fan threw a water bottle at him. Trae Young got spat on. Russell Westbrook got popcorn spilled on him. Like, it seems like people were just cooped up for so long that like they're just like rowdy and ready to like do crazy things. Like,
Right.
And like my phone is like made in a sweatshop probably too, but like still like this guy's like a public figure, and he acts like this woke social justice warrior all the time, but he's hypocritical.
yeah, I feel like everybody's a little hypocritical sometimes, but like I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But going back to basketball, like I feel like we all knew that for the Celtics to get one, to push it to 5 games, Tatum had to drop 50. Everything had to be going perfectly for the Celtics, and that's what happened. I'd be shocked if they won another game.
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna get swept.
Yeah. That one game, that proved Tatum's worth. Proved he's a superstar. That's all any Celtic fan really expected was at least one.
Yeah, the difference in talent. Yep.
Oh, sorry to interrupt, but I was just gonna say that probably one of the only reasons we even won that game is because of the circus around Kyrie. They were booing him really loudly every possession. He shot terribly in that game. He started the game like 2 for 13, and that gave us that small edge. And then you saw the next game when he performed. We were down by double digits almost the whole game, pretty much.
Yeah. And I thought the difference in talent just became apparent as the game went on today. Like, we can get one if we play perfectly, but there's no way we're going to push it to 7 or anything like that. It's just...
No. Not without Jalen.
And Kemba. Where was Kemba?
He was out. He's pretty much damaged goods.
Back-to-backs.
It's just Evan Fournier and Jason Tatum. And
Marcus
Smart.
too.
Yeah. That's
Marcus
the big three.
Well.
Speaking of Kemba, I'm just kind of iffy on Kemba. Like, as a Celtic, like I wouldn't be upset if we traded him. It feels like we got Kemba at the point where he was on a decline, unfortunately.
Yeah.
He's kind of damaged goods at this point, which is mean,
He's
but
gone. Yeah. Hate to see it. It's just, honestly, like, look back at it in hindsight, it would have been better if we kept Rozier,
Yeah. Yep.
Uh-huh.
But at the time, like,
Right.
Like Kemba for Rozier seemed okay, but now
scheme-wise, it made sense.
Hindsight's 2020, though.
Yeah.
And that's a credit to Melo because he makes his teammates better. LaMelo.
True.
And Rozier's benefiting from Melo's energy.
Yeah, but I'm almost 100% sure that the Celtics won't pull this one out. So the next round, Nets versus Bucks. How do you guys see that going? Noel?
Well, let's talk about Bucks Heat first.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, that was a statement sweep.
Yeah, Miami, definitely something going on in Miami. Bubble frauds, bubble boys. I don't know what happened. Jimmy Butler scoring disappeared. Tyler Hero is playing blowout bench patrol. Heat embarrassing.
I know you have to wonder, like, what's the difference between last year and this year? Like, how can you go from beating a team in 5 to getting swept the next year?
I think Drew Holiday is really underrated and underestimated his impact on the court.
Oh yeah, Drew Holiday, he got a fat contract for a reason.
Oh, and PJ Tucker, he was getting boards like crazy. Bryn Forbes,
yeah,
he was scoring better than Jimmy Butler, and Tyler Hero combined. Bryn Forbes.
One thing I noticed about the Heat is that throughout the regular season, they never really had a full 5, like their best 5. Because I know Hero started the point of the season injured. Butler got COVID at one point. He missed about 20-25 games. Robinson missed a couple games here and there. And I think the biggest difference for them was Bam. Bam did not look like the same player this year. He's not aggressive in the paint. He almost looked scared playing against Milwaukee. They were just basically daring him to shoot, and he was shooting. And on the Milwaukee side of things, I think definitely Drew Holiday is the biggest impact. I think he played even better than Giannis in this past series.
Yeah, Chris Middleton too. Forgot to mention.
Yep,
Chris
Middleton. And
Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez is a steady, he's good at defense, and he can get a bucket here and there. He's a good addition, and Bobby Portis as well.
Yeah,
they will definitely make the Nets uncomfortable every game. I feel like it's not gonna be easy. The Celtics, I think the Celtics are just really bad. I mean, they had lost 2 of their starters and Robert Williams. I think the Nets are actually likely to bust. I think there's too much drama. There's not enough continuity.
Yeah,
I'm gonna just say that the Bucks are gonna beat the Nets right here.
So I noticed that PJ Tucker made things tough on Jimmy Butler. I think PJ Tucker excels in his role, as a 3-and-D guy. He knows his role. So adding guys like that, Holiday, Tucker, Portis, just great additions. The front office really made some great moves. And I do think that the Bucks have a really good chance of knocking out the Nets, which is crazy to say because the Nets have probably the 3 most skilled players of all time on their team. So, yeah.
I mean, Giannis, I feel like Giannis equals Durant, Drew Holiday equals Kyrie, and Chris Middleton. I don't want to say equal James Harden, but I think Bucks bench might balance that out.
They did just lose DiVincenzo, though. I mean, it's tough.
I don't know. I feel like, but now Bryn Forbes has the opportunity, and he's doing better than DiVincenzo was. But
I personally think that Bryn Forbes is almost unplayable against Brooklyn because if he guards Kyrie, they're going to ISO him every time. If he guards Harden, they're going to ISO him every time. So, literally, that's what the Celtics were doing to get Tatum as 50, was ISOing him on Kyrie, ISOing him on that smaller guard. So Forbes isn't going to have as many minutes as last year's, I think. They can't afford it. They have to play a bigger guard or a wing like Connaughton or Middleton at the 2, honestly. If they have any chance.
I'm probably tripping because the Nets are so favored that I'm just trying to find some angle to find a way that they will lose. You got to root for the underdog.
Yeah, the playoffs are really based on top heavy, who's more top heavy, and it's definitely the Nets against pretty much anybody they play.
Yeah, they have that intimidation factor too, and I feel like the Milwaukee Bucks might be a little like rattled when they face them, because
At the end
they
of the
are.
day,
Yeah, go ahead.
okay, I was gonna say at the end of the day with Brooklyn, with those big three, out of those three at their peak, might not take anyone else in the league over them, like scoring wise, when they're at the top of their game. Harden, Durant, and Kyrie are definitely the most effective, complete scorers in our game.
Yeah, that's the
Probably
thing
of
though.
all time.
Is
I think
Bucks
just
are
in the
good
league right now.
The
Yeah,
thing is,
the
the
Bucks have a
Bucks.
solid defense.
Yeah, they have probably the best defense, I would say. Giannis and Drew Holiday. That's a really good defense. Just those two alone.
True.
Never
They do
mind
have
Brook
some holes
Lopez.
on their bigs though. Like Brook Lopez has been horrendous on defense this season.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah.
What about Philly, Washington?
Yeah, the crazy thing is about that series is Westbrook and Beal have been playing pretty well, and they're still getting blown out every game. Like, I think it just shows. It shows first of all how weak the supporting cast in Washington is, but also it kind of shows how things are coming together for Philly. You know?
Did you see that Davis Bertans stat line?
No, I haven't. What was
It
it?
was like 26 minutes, 0 points, 0, 6 fouls.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
He didn't record. He had 6 fouls and didn't record a single other stat.
You just gave him extension too, like your boy Luke Kennard, Steve.
Oh man.
Yeah, he hasn't played a minute and he got like 64 million. Jeez.
Dude, I think they're under. He's like not that bad. They're just not playing him enough.
Yeah, I think defense is valued greatly in the playoffs, and Luke Kennard is not known as a defensive player. But going back to the Sixers, like they lock up, like what you mentioned about Bertans, like that's not even that surprising to me because they can throw out Tybal, Simmons, Danny Green.
Yeah,
Jeez, just
they
thinking
have
about
good
that.
defense as well.
And when you can funnel guys to Embiid, like Embiid, great defensively.
Yeah,
I've
that
been
might be
thinking
a
about, yeah.
tougher matchup for Bucks than the Nets. But
Oh
go on.
yeah, the East at the top, those
I
top
value
three teams.
defense, and I feel like Nets defense is suspect. But yeah,
I would have rather seen the Pacers play the Sixers, honestly. I think they would have done a better job.
But they gave up on their coach last month. That's the only reason why they were even
saw
in
that.
spot. You know?
They were like beefing with their coach. You saw that?
Mm-hmm.
But I do think the Pacers would have had a better shot because they were more well-rounded. You know, they got LeVert, Brogdon, Sabonis, the Holiday brothers, T.J. Warren.
They could have had Warren healthy potentially.
Yeah.
Turner's.
Turner was
defense.
His health was an issue too, but yeah.
What other? We missed Knicks Hawks. We should talk about that next.
It suddenly got really chilly in the room.
Man.
Oh man, Trey said he'll see you in the A. He did just that, man.
Indeed, he did.
Yeah, I know Noel was picking the Knicks. You know, I don't blame you because defensively they were like the best team in the league during the regular season, but it just seems like the gravity that Trae Young has is just too much. He consistently draws doubles, and he's a willing passer too. That's the best thing about him is he doesn't like selfishly hold on to the ball. Like he gets doubled, he draws that attention, but then he finds the open man, and that's why they're on their way to go into the second round. I'm proud of him.
I think one thing that the Knicks should have done, especially today, is target Trae Young on defense because he's amazing offensively, an amazing shooter, great vision, a top 5 passer. But on defense, he can't guard a parked car. Let's be honest. And they weren't isoing him today. They were trying to feed Randall even though he was off, and their game plan offensively they got very convoluted. They stopped playing matchups and they kind of went back to their regular season thinking of everyone can get an open shot. Let's find the best shot instead of let's get our player the ball in the best situation possible.
Yeah, Randall's been off all series. Have you noticed that? I think it's
Yeah.
because like you don't think of the Hawks as a defensive team, but they do have Clint Capella, John Collins. They have some wings like DeAndre Hunter. Bogdanovich and Herter aren't like known as defenders, but they're long. Like they can at least contest. Like being able to funnel
Gallo.
guys towards a guy like Capella, like it makes your defense just a lot better. I think it hides the mistakes of guards too. Like Trae Young's not a good defender, like you said, but it hides the mistakes when you can just force a guy to go into Capella, who's like the East Gobert.
I agree.
Jason, how you feel about the Knicks Hawks?
This is a series I haven't paid that much attention to, but I like the Madison Square Garden energy.
Yeah,
So
it's not the sexiest series, but
yeah, but yeah, Julius Randle doesn't seem like he's showing up.
yeah, Randall's like patented shot is that like baseline like step back, and I
Yeah.
feel like they're doing a great job of like taking it away, like forcing the ball out of his hands. And the thing about the Knicks is once you get the ball out of Randall's hands, they don't have a lot of scorers.
Derrick
Like,
Rose.
Yeah, bro,
Yeah,
Tibbs
Derrick Rose.
is running D Rose into the ground. Nothing's
literally.
changed.
He's playing 40
No.
minutes.
Nothing's changed since Chicago 10 years ago. Literally the same thing.
Taj Gibson's still there running 40 minutes, the whole thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing from 10 years ago, man.
Oh, man, that's funny.
Yeah, like their second best scorer is like Alec Burks when Randall doesn't have it going. Like
Yeah,
it's crazy.
but the Hawks are low key deep. Like
They
DeAndre Hunter, Bogdanovich are good
I
players.
like watching them.
I do
Yeah.
think they're going to lose in 5 to Philly, though.
Yeah, they could put up a fight, but
I think 6 at least. I'd give them 6.
it depends on their engine, Trey. He's
So
the
I think-
motor for it all.
Simmons guarding Trae Young is a nightmare for Trae Young. And then if you switch him off, they can put Thibault on him. That's not a good matchup for Trae.
Yeah,
This is-
that's true. Simmons could lock up for sure.
Yeah, Thibault's a freak too. This is kind of off topic, but like, is it just me or does it make a game more enjoyable to watch when the jerseys look nice or like the court looks cool?
Yeah,
I feel like-
like
I feel like
the
the
Memphis
Hawks-
throwbacks and stuff.
Yeah, Memphis, the Hawks. I think the Hawks have cool jerseys and a cool court. I don't know why, but like, it's a lot easier to watch a game when it's like aesthetically pleasing.
Part of the brand. Advertising for sure, yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like not many people talk about that, but like when the game has like boring jerseys, boring court, it's like harder to get into it for some reason.
Yeah, I feel like the overhits too when the jerseys and like everything looks nice.
Why do you think that is?
Just because it's like the aesthetics, it's like the energy. Gotta do my research before the game, see what jerseys they're wearing.
Should we switch over to the West?
Yeah, Noel, bring
Yeah.
a series up.
So I'd love to talk about Suns Lakers.
Oh yeah,
This one for sure.
yeah.
Currently 2-2, and it's looking like AD might play for Game 5. We don't know. Chris Paul looked amazing today. His shoulder looked a little bit better too. So I really think this is going 7.
Yeah, the sad part about sports and basketball is like injuries are a part of the game. Like it sucks. Like you can't turn injuries off. Like this isn't 2K. Like you have to deal with them. And when you're an injured player, like you're an injury prone player, it kind of is held against you. But like rightfully so almost, because the best ability is availability. So like Anthony Davis and Chris Paul getting injured, like yeah, you feel bad for them, but also like it's kind of a detriment to them as players in a way. Jason, what have you seen from this Lakers Suns series?
I've seen that neither of these teams are gonna make it past the next round. Who are they playing? Jazz?
No, the Jazz are playing the Clippers.
So who would they play?
Blazers Nuggets.
Oh, okay, that's a different story. If
Yeah.
okay, oh man, dude. Okay, both of those series, I think both those, all four of those teams are frauds, and neither of them have a chance of making it to the finals. I think it's Jazz, Clippers. Yeah. Who else? No one.
We think that the Clippers are gonna make it to the finals after losing those first 2 games.
I don't know. It feels like they found themselves. But maybe I'm just looking optimistic as
Who
a
else
fan.
is in the West?
It's really just them.
For me, the Suns
Lakers,
and the Lakers, whoever wins the series
If
is winning
Anthony
it.
Davis is if Anthony Davis is good, if Chris Paul is healthy, then maybe them. But I think I would go Jazz over any of them.
I get that in all likelihood the Lakers are probably going to go to the finals, but like, wouldn't it be a breath of fresh air that the Suns would be the ones to move on? Like, watching like Suns Blazers, I feel like that'd be a cool series.
Yeah, potentially. But at the end of the day, LeBron's never lost in the first round, so unfortunately, you're not going to be able to have that.
That's a crazy stat. Never lost in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't it crazy that Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton, like their first playoff series, they got thrown right into the fire against LeBron James, the greatest player of all time, and the defending champions.
So unlucky. So unlucky.
And they're doing pretty well. DeAndre Ayton especially. Ayton's been a surprising one.
He stepped it up.
It's just so disappointing that Chris Paul's injured again. Like
he seemed
probably
okay
his last
today.
chance.
It is it is his last chance. He seemed all right today though, so maybe
he's a free agent.
I think Devin Booker might be a bit of a fraud as well, just because in that pickup game he was like, "Yo, don't double me, bro." You know, he was like, "Yo, don't double me." Like, bro.
He hasn't really like risen to the occasion, but I also think you can credit the Lakers defense. I've been really impressed with the Lakers defense. Caruso, Gasol, Davis, Caruso especially. He swarms guys. LeBron's locked in. Wesley Matthews, Kuzma.
I think if AD is injured, then Suns are gonna win for sure.
I would love to see that.
It's gonna. If AD's injured, Suns are gonna win.
I'm just conditioned to think that LeBron never loses. So
yeah,
there's that.
I still think. I'd still bet on the Lakers.
Who's gonna score besides LeBron?
Wesley Matthews.
Who cares? We still got LeBron. They made it in
Dennis Schroeder, I guess.
2017 with a bunch of scrubs.
Yeah, the question isn't really who's going to score but LeBron. It's like because LeBron will just get guys open, so it's not like they have to like ISO. It's not like Dennis Schroeder's going to be out here Kyrie guys. Like
you said, Chris Paul looked better today. I think if he looked better, I think their Suns are going to win. They won today.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
I guess we'll see it.
But let's talk about Portland, Denver.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
What's the series at? 2-2. So Blazers should not have lost 2 games, and proof is in the last game. The Nuggets were horrible. Like there's no Campazzo's a dog. Okay, gotta shout out Campazzo.
I love watching
him. He's like 30 years old. This is like his rookie year or something.
Yeah. Well, in the NBA. Yep.
Yeah. He's nice.
Yeah, dude, he's like 5'9", and he's out there on the highest level in the world, dropping dimes, knocking down threes. He's feisty, too, on defense, even though he's super short.
And Jokic has proven why he's MVP. Like, he carried him for 2 wins. But Blazers kind of like Nurkic fouled out 2 out of the 3 games with like 5 minutes left in the game with like stupid fouls. And,
hey, don't talk about my cousin like that.
They have no defense. Like they're not getting rebounds on the free throw line. Like it's crazy. So whoever they face next round, who's it gonna be again?
Lakers,
Suns.
Lakers, Suns.
I would probably choose Suns over them.
Have you noticed that Nurkic and Jokic kind of have like a little bit of heat because
Yeah.
Jokic took Nurkic's place on the Nuggets, so it's kind of like, all right, like let's see who's better. It's definitely a Jokic, but Nurkic actually like it's kind of a luxury for the Blazers to have him because he's a pretty big body. Like he can also kind of go right back at Jokic. He's not as good as him, but he can kind of play with him a little bit. So
Yeah,
nice
I like
for
Nurkic.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's
I
just
think
some
that-
games where he plays like a doofus.
Yeah, no, he definitely has like he can be like a top 5, maybe top 10 center, but like he just doesn't do it consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think him and Covington are probably the only people who can actually guard anyone on that team. The funny thing with that series is that I looked at it as almost the Doom series because whoever wins the series, even if it goes 7, which it probably will, you either have to play Phoenix or LA. And Denver without Murray, they don't have a chance of winning anything after this round. I think they don't have the star power. Austin Rivers may have done well for a game or two, but it's not going to be enough. And then with Portland, they haven't played defense in 5 years. They haven't played defense this year. They don't have people who can play defense other than Covington and Nurkic. And then their specialists who can play defense can't score. So I think they're doomed no matter what happens. But it'll be interesting to see which one comes out. But either way, they're losing to Phoenix or LA almost guaranteed.
Yeah, they've been swept like the last 3 years in a row, something like that. I think Terry Stotts needs to be fired. He'll find a job.
They lost to LA in 5 last year, but they pretty much got swept.
I count that as a sweep. Gentleman's sweep, I count it. Same thing. But I like the Blazers. I'm a Blazers fan. I like Nurkic, even though he has low basketball IQ sometimes. I like Lillard, but I think unless he's hot, I think he's like a detriment. Like sometimes he can get the playmaking going, but if he's not hitting long range threes, it's not really helping.
I was happy.
Yeah.
I was happy for Austin Rivers when he won Game 3 for the Nuggets. Like he was pretty much the reason they won.
Yeah, that was annoying.
Was he a Blazers
fan? As a Blazers fan, dude, seeing Austin Rivers beat your team basically, it's tough.
Yeah, he hit some big shots.
Since Duke days.
Yeah. Some big shots down the stretch.
For sure. That's what they needed, honestly. Just someone who's confident, can take that Murray role, and he helped them out that game because Campazzo's not doing that. He's always trying to make the extra pass. Basically, Aaron Gordon especially, he has been so passive this year. He looks like he doesn't even want the ball sometimes. And
he's playing good D, though.
Yeah, but they need that offensive force.
Yeah.
And without Murray, they can't score enough to be a real contender.
Yeah, Gordon's a good matchup on Lillard. Like he can move well laterally and has long arms, but yeah, he doesn't have the offensive punch that you would need. But Austin Rivers was a good pickup in that case. Yeah, but it feels like the Blazers have always had that identity where they're like this really perimeter heavy, like ISO heavy team that is probably never going to win it all, but they're like entertaining to watch, I guess. Like
right.
Yeah.
It's just disappointment every year with them. Like if they took a series to 7, I'll be like, okay, at least you tried. But they can't even take it to 6.
Fair. Should we cover Jazz Grizz?
Yeah. I honestly slept on the Grizzlies before this. Like I didn't watch them much, but like after watching them in the play-in and in the playoffs now, I really like watching them. Sure, you got John Morant, and he's amazing. He dropped nearly 50 points in Game 2. But, like, Dylan Brooks, complete dog, dude. Gets after it, not afraid of the moment.
Dylan Brooks, he's good. He's fouling a little too much right now, though. But, like, he's young. He's like, this is his first playoff. He's learning. But the Jazz, their experience and chemistry is definitely showing right now. And Ja Morant's like he's on the same level as Luka right now. Ja Morant, you could definitely say that.
Kinda.
No, 47 points. He's 1 year younger than Luka. Luka was doing
but
the
Luka's
same
putting
thing.
those up every game. He's putting up a 40-point triple-double every game. Ja has some games where he has 18.
Yeah, well, unlike the Mavericks, I think the Grizzlies might be better suited. Like if Ja Morant was injured, I think they would be able to like be better than the Mavs right now.
Oh, I agree. But Memphis is a better supporting cast for sure.
Yeah, ever since the return. Yep.
No, go ahead.
Ever since the return of Mitchell, like the series turned around for the Jazz. Did you see when Mitchell was like, "Yeah, I'm on his ass" to Dylan Brooks? He really brought that energy. Like,
yeah, Mitchell was drawing all those fouls.
Yeah.
Interesting thing about that. So game 1, Mitchell was held out, but he said he was good to go. Apparently, the rumor is that he was recovering off campus, off site from the Jazz facility, and that's why they were mad that he wasn't checking with their doctors, and they basically did it to spite him because he was fully active in warmups. And so that gets me thinking that he could potentially be traded this offseason, especially if Memphis gives him a good go. And I personally think they're going to lose next round because Rudy Gobert can't guard anyone outside of the paint, and he shoots 5 times a game, and he's their second best player.
Gobert is suspect, but they're definitely not trading Mitchell. He's like their franchise player.
Kemba and Smart for Mitchell.
No. Oh, I mean,
I would do that.
No way.
Utah wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because they got Conley.
Conley's been balling, and this is like a revenge series for him because he was on the Grizzlies.
Yeah, Jordan Clarkson won 6-man.
Yeah, he hasn't been doing too hot though in the playoffs so far, but he's been hitting like some good shots. But I expect more from him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even
though the Grizzlies. Yep.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say about the Jazz. The one thing, like for example, in game 1 when they lost, they shot really bad from 3-point range, and they're a very like live on the 3, die by the 3 team. And I have a feeling that they're gonna end up like Houston in 2018 when they're just chucking, and at one point it's gonna catch up with you. And when you're not making those threes, you're not gonna know what to do when you get hit in the mouth by a team like the Lakers who just scores in the paint.
Yeah.
No. Dude, I feel like the Lakers are so suspect. I feel like the Jazz are the strongest team right now. Like, they have the best chemistry. They have a ton of depth. You know, it's not just threes. Like, Bogdanovich can get some mid-range. Joe Ingles is a playmaker. Donovan Mitchell can get to the bucket. Rudy Gobert, he can get to the bucket sometimes, but he is suspect sometimes. And Mike Conley is a consistent, like, veteran. I really feel like this is the Jazz year, barring injury.
I think they're
for a reason.
They're well balanced, but they're not very top heavy, and that might come back to bite them.
Donovan Mitchell, though, he can be serious.
I know, but after that, it drops off after him.
Yeah, I don't trust anyone on that team other than Mitchell. They have solid players, but I don't trust Mike Conley. No.
You don't trust Bogdanovich.
Yeah, but when you weigh those guys, against the other
Derek Favors.
Lakers. He's the definition of average.
Lakers are like flopping actors. AD just got injured. You know who? Their second best option is Kuzma now, or Schroeder. And then Suns, Chris Paul's suspect. Devin Booker. Suspect.
I do want to mention that the Grizzlies are the only team that made the playoffs because of the play-in. Every other team already was 7th or 8th, but the Grizzlies are the one team that made it because of the play-in. I'm glad, because it's been like a revelation for me watching them. I'm like, wow. Kyle Anderson, John Moran, Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, they're pesky. Grayson Allen.
Jaren Jackson.
hitting clutch
Desmond Bane.
shots.
Dude, Desmond Bane is huge.
Jonas Valanciunas.
They have a deep
Yeah.
team. They're solid.
Yeah, but I really like Donovan Mitchell. He's like one of my favorite players.
Yeah, I think Utah pretty much wins up. Maybe they might lose a game here or there, but I think they take them out in 5 or 6 with Mitchell back.
Mm-hmm.
All right, before we wrap up, unless you guys have other things you want to talk about, do you?
Yeah, I'll bring up one thing. I think that the East, I think that Bucks Nets series might screw over those two teams. And say, for example, that goes 7 and Philly goes 5 with Atlanta. Philly might just kind of take out the remains of whatever is in that series. Because that's going to be a tough one, I think. I think they go 6 or 7 guaranteed. And Philly might have an easy spot to the finals, especially if someone from Brooklyn gets hurt. Then they could really get in and make some noise.
Yeah, you do not want to see the Bucks or the Nets in the second round. Like, not at all.
For sure.
It's going to be a bloodbath. I wanted to ask you guys, because the Wizards are losing their series. So, like, what do you guys think is the future of Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal? Like, where do you think they're going to end up? Or what do you think they're going to do with their careers?
I think that Beal ends up in Miami next year. And I think Westbrook stays in Washington with a couple of the young guys. And then he gets probably like a elite big man to play with him. Maybe like a Miles Turner and then a couple other pieces, and then they become like a fun 6 feet in the East. And he puts up big numbers, but I think Beal's out of there by now.
Yeah. Jason?
Yeah, the Beal trade rumors have been going on for a while. I think it's probably going to happen. Wizards are a mess. Scott Brooks hasn't proved anything as a coach. Thomas Bryant, if he was healthy, maybe they'd be a little better. They traded. Yeah, they're bad.
I'd like to see
playoffs.
Beal. I want to see Beal on the Knicks. I feel like they're missing a guy like him.
That'd be interesting. I hope they get
Watching
Kawhi.
Depending on what happens with the Clippers, you know.
Yeah, Knicks need a good team. That they have too good of a crowd to not get a good team.
Oh yeah, the return of fans, like the actual return of fans, like we've been talking about for a while.
Oh
but, like,
yeah, let's talk about that.
Now, like there's no mass, like it's really full capacity. Like it's been like it feels like life really is like back to normal almost. Like it's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy how like COVID kind of started with the NBA. To me, with like Rudy Gobert. Like, nobody really took COVID seriously until, like, the NBA shut down and then the world started shutting down. And now, like, it seems like things are getting back to normal because of the NBA playoffs.
Funny story about that. Like 3 or 4 days before Gobert announced that he had COVID, I was at the Jazz Celtics game. And I was, like, 5th or 6th row or something. And I was, like, right next to Gobert. And I saw a bunch of kids fist bumping him. And like, it went through my mind, like, I could have gotten COVID at that game and not even known it.
What, like, around what time was that? What month?
This was literally, like, 3 or 4 days before the last game of the season.
Wow.
In March?
It was the last Celtics home game.
I remember that game.
It was when Brad Wanamaker missed 2 wide open threes at the end and they lost. And Marcus Smart was our leading scorer with, like, 27 that game. It was a weird game. Clarkson was a leading scorer on the other team. Made no sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I've seen restaurants. I've seen restaurants have like signs on their doors saying like masks are optional, and I'm like, wow, that looks so weird. Just because like we've been so confined for the past 16 months, like. So it feels good.
It's like a new world out there. It's weird. It's like the whole world kind of like changed, like psychologically. I feel like.
Yeah, and then you still have fans like spitting on people, spilling popcorn on people, stuff like that. So you still got those weirdos out there, but
At least they're getting called out, banned for life. So that's good.
yeah, you saw the guy in the Boston crowd. He got banned for life for throwing a bottle at Kyrie, and he got arrested. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I mean,
fans are rowdy.
You could argue what Kyrie did was worse, but
Yeah, stomping on. He did it like he was putting out a cigarette.
yeah, like he was smearing something on our logo.
Yeah.
Kyrie, man. What an
Dude, but
asshole.
he's entertaining though, man. He was getting in like, he looked like a miniature Kobe, like for sure.
Oh, he was cooking.
Balling.
For sure.
Oh yeah, basketball wise, yeah, for sure. But he
Gotta
portrays
respect
himself. He portrays himself as like this respectful guy.
Yeah.
And then he goes to like this Celtics logo that means so much to so many people, and he just stomps on it.
Bro, I feel like he's like done too much acid or something.
He's so
You know?
hypocritical.
He's
Just
definitely done a
gets
lot of
what he does.
psychedelics.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Or he's just an asshole. That too.
That could be it too. All right. You guys have anything else? Or
But just the way he was burning sage, like remember at the beginning of season?
yeah.
Oh, what
That's
basket?
so weird. But I mean, yeah.
Just to like sum up the playoffs, you can really tell the difference between playoffs and regular season and how the game just slows down. You can tell which players are really elite and which aren't. Like Julius Randle, we've known that Julius Randle has potential to be like an all-star, but we all know his cap. He was being treated like an MVP candidate during the season. That's ridiculous. He is not a top 15 player.
Yeah, playoffs really expose who's who. Regular season is trash. I do not watch it. Playoffs is how it should be, even though there's a little too many commercials, but whatever. Like in the regular season, people get benched in the fourth quarter. Like there's all these like miscellaneous injuries going on. Well, playoffs is a real deal.
I think Randall's going to make an All-NBA team just based off his regular season performance.
I think he'll probably make the third team, maybe the second team. I think he deserves it, but to be an MVP talks, I think.
Yeah. All right. I guess one last thing before I wrap it up. So I was wondering what you guys thought about Embiid versus Jokic. Because, you know, like they're kind of similar players in some ways. Like they're really good in the post. But then they have differences, of course. Like I think Embiid's more agile. He has this little step back move that's like, it's almost like he's dancing when he does it. But yeah, I just think the difference between them is Jokic is more of a passer. He has a better feel for the game, but Embiid's like this brute that just like powers through guys. Like, who would you guys rather have?
Embiid. It's tough, but I think Embiid, just because he's stronger and he can shoot. But Jokic, the playmaking, if he had pieces around him, he could probably be better than Embiid is.
Jokic has that.
It's tough.
Jokic has the sneaky strength, though.
Yeah, he's crafty.
Like, he bodies guys low key.
It's subjective. It's really up in the air.
So I started off thinking that Embiid is the clear favorite at the start of the season. I think he's got a certain gap over Jokic talent-wise. And then after the season, I saw one stat that Jokic threw the most passes in the league by any player by like a wide amount, like more than any point guard. He's averaging like a ridiculous amount of assists too. And his calmness under pressure is something you don't usually see in big men. Like he acts like a guard almost, which Embiid can do, but I feel like sometimes almost Embiid gasses out too much. Like he runs out of stamina. With Jokic, I feel like we've seen him go into 4 overtimes when he played against the Blazers, and he was still producing. In that playoff game, I believe it was a year ago. or 2 years ago rather. So and also the injury trouble too. Jokic is always on the floor. So I did give Embiid the advantage, but I think after this past year, Jokic deserves a little bit of the applause, and I'd give him a slight advantage over Embiid.
Yeah, Jokic is going to be the MVP just because he played the whole season.
Noel, that was a lovely answer. Like, I don't know,
Thanks.
you just like swayed me from Embiid to Jokic.
Yep.
Yeah, and trust me, I was one of the people that was like, no way Jokic is better than Embiid. I'm never changing my mind. And then I was like, well, shit. I mean, it's kind of close.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think Jokic's passing is like the most valuable thing. I really do. And I love watching it too.
Yeah, he's an amazing passer. He has a vision that you can't really teach. He has a feel for the game where he knows where players are going to be without even looking.
Yeah. His unconventional, like crafty style is what I like watching. I know some people don't really prefer that, but I just like the weirdness of it.
Yeah, it's you don't really know how to guard it too because it's going at a weird speed and his footing is different. Same thing with Luka. A lot of the Euro players move at their own pacing, and it's not the NBA game moves at a certain pace, and then all of a sudden these guys are Euro stepping, and it looks like they're in slow motion, but by the time you even try to block it, he's already scored.
Yeah, that's the thing with these guys. It feels like they figured out the game in ways that not many people have.
Mm-hmm.
Like Luka and Jokic, it looks like they're moving in slow motion, but they always finish somehow.
Right.
Always.
Yeah, they got the touch. I think Lillard, when he's hot from long range, like there's nothing more entertaining. When he's hitting those long bombs, bro. And he'll
Yeah.
rattle off like 5 of them in a row from like 40
I think
feet.
watching Curry do that is unlike anything I've ever seen. Because Curry's more of a showman too. Dame's kind of more of that like serious tough guy.
Dame got that range. I feel like Dame got more range than Curry. Curry got like more like accuracy, like overall, but I feel like Dame got more range.
I've seen Curry make shots from the opposite free throw line, like in the playoffs. Curry got some range.
Yeah, and Norman Powell is, even though I missed Gary Trent, I think Norman Powell, he's not bad. He's locking up Michael Porter right now. Yeah.
He's a free agent though. He might even leave and they might get stuck with nothing, which would stink because Gary Trent's 21 years old and he was.
Yeah, Norman got more playoff experience, so that's probably better right now.
Norman to the Celtics. All right, guys. That was a good episode, honestly. I feel like there was a lot of good basketball talk in there.
For sure.
Yeah. I want to petition for the Minnesota Timberwolves to go to Seattle.
I will also join that petition.
Yeah. Seattle needs a team.
Sacramento should probably get rid of their team too.
Yeah, California has enough teams. Like they really don't need that many teams.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'm gonna listen to this one back a couple times because I feel like it was a good one. All right.
Yeah, I had a great time.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, that was episode 19, and I don't know. Can you guys think of anybody? I can't.
Sean Marion.
Once we get to the 20s, I think it'll get a lot easier.
Yeah. We should have looked this up.
19. I feel like this is like some weird point guard.
It's tough. It really is
It's a tough one.
Well, let's look it up real quick.
All right. Quick.
Nick Van Exel.
Okay.
Bunch of weird. Jared Uthoff.
Well, that shows.
Oh, Hito Turkoglu. There's one. European
okay.
legend.
Okay.
Raja Bell. Leandro Barbosa.
Oh yeah,
bro,
these guys are all.
Bro, Leandro Barbosa was deadly in like 2K15.
He won a ring with Golden State too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
all right,
19.
Well. Yeah, there we go.
All
All
right.
right, boys.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
stuff.
All right. I'll see you,
Take
boys.
care.